Good all, welcome back to South Africa, and this is South African Prepper. So I do apologize, we haven't uploaded any videos. This channel actually got a strike against it because of the NATO Beloy video. So the consequences was that we were unable to upload videos on this channel. So in the description is two more channels that you can visit that I do. The one is on YouTube and the second one on Rumble. So please join them as well. They speak about different topics a little bit, and this will allow you to support us a little bit better. So I've got a friend in America. He wrote to me regarding prepping from an American perspective. So I'm going to read this to you. I cannot take any credit for this because I did not compile this. But I do think that we can learn from each other. This is also an American patriot. If I do speak to him, one can definitely see the similarities in our beliefs, in the way we do things. They are pretty much the same that white South Africans. The only difference, obviously, being the language that we speak and maybe a little bit of cultural differences. So I'm going to read this to you. I'll leave out some certain things which is personal, but let's jump into it, and you will definitely find this interesting. So he says, my friend, referring to me, I agree. No farmers, no food. Here in America, we have a saying, 9 meals away from anarchy. I have seen it personally, and then he says where he's from, after Hurricane Andrew, and that was after relief efforts was underway. People were robbing and killing for anything. I can't imagine what it would be when a large majority of the country has no food for an extended time frame. Not sure what the time frame in South Africa is, but I can imagine what it would be much different, maybe 24 hours plus or minus. So here he's comparing South Africa with America, because he's American and I'm South African and we do speak. Also, I can't imagine there being a large reserve of stockpiled held in reserve by emergency by the government. Okay, so that's his own government. In my training and in the planning sessions that I have participated in, we noted several trends. And now he's listing the trends. I'm going to read it to you. So this is again from an American's perspective, also a prepper like ourselves. Number one, food supply fails. It can be from weather, strikes, transportation, lack of food stamps, etc. We actually saw this in KZN 2021. You remember, suddenly certain things weren't available in stores because transport couldn't run. Number two, by the ninth missed meal, people are in the street protesting. By the ninth missed meal. So if you have 2 meals a day, that is roughly about 3 days. If you have 3 meals a day, it depends. So between 2 and 3 days then. People are in the street protesting. Number three, by the 10th missed meal, people are stealing, looting food stores. We actually saw this in KZN. By the 11th missed meal, people are burning, looting other businesses. Number five, by the 12th missed meal, people are committing home invasions. That's quite interesting. By the 13th missed meal, people are pouring out of the cities to surround farms and suburb gardens, killing, plundering, stealing, and burning. Most, almost all, do not have the knowledge to use what is present without gross waste. That's very interesting, eh? And then number seven, anarchy reigns over larger swaths of the affected area. So that is basically what is done here. He's taken it from when people do not have food anymore. So he started with 9 meals. I would assume that's 2 or 3 days. And then he worked his way down to when people go down to have missed 13 meals. And the cycle that he's personally seen in this case study, he referred to Hurricane Andrew. So I would assume that this is almost a real life event that took place when Hurricane Andrew hit America. And then he goes on to say, after people have missed 13 missed meals, it takes heavy-handed forces at this point to regain control with much loss of life and property. This year in selected areas of the United States with resources that can be brought in from other areas. Other triggers can cause these types of events other than food, but food is universal. Of course, your location and situations are different, but I am sure there are some similarities. I see little to no help for those trapped in or near the major affected areas in those scenarios. Most grocery stores here have no more than a 3-day inventory supply and rely just in time delivery. Now, South Africa is the same. Since COVID, you can see the stores are battling to keep enough stock. Where we used to preside or live, we went to a specific store and I always showed my wife, listen, why are the shelves so empty week after week after week, especially after COVID? So most stores in America keep 3 days of inventory. I can relate to that. I think South Africa is almost the same because we also rely on the just-in-time delivery system. And then he continues saying, food warehouses generally keep a 3 to 7 day supply inventory. Food distribution centers generally keep a 7 to 14 day supply inventory. From there it is coming from the processor. This is our chain of supply, but as you can see, a lot can go wrong even for us as Americans. Okay, so I must say, our just-in-time system looks pretty much the same. So thank you, my friend from America. It looks really, there's a hell of a same difference. A similarity, sorry for that. And then he goes on to say, as I see it, there are several things that can be done to insulate oneself. So this is where the prepping thing comes in. Number one, he's got 7 points here. Number one, distance from the known trouble areas. Large metro areas, squatter camps, ghettos, hoods, etc. at greater than 1 tank of fuel away. 1 tank of fuel away. This is some advice from an American talking to a South African and his own experience. Number two, sufficient supply for 6 months minimum. 18 months is better, he says. And then number three, he's got 7 points here. Number three, means and willingness to protect yourself, family, supplies, and property. Number four, means of producing, processing, and preserving more food and supplies with the knowledge and skills to do so. Number five, a defensible location with pre-planned and prepared fallback locations. So a plan A and a plan B. Number six, a mutual aid group by whatever name, and then he just uses examples, a farm watch, a neighborhood watch, and a commando watch or commando system. Again, he's now cross-referencing our discussions with each other, and he's bringing some South African tactics in here as well. And number seven, communications among the core group, mutual aid group, also to gather intel. Of course, there is much more than just this basic list, and he goes on to say greetings and thank you very much. So very interesting how Americans prep. Interesting that how he sees our situation. From this email, he was taking his personal experiences. He's quite an old man. Respect. He's quite an old gentleman. So he's taken his experience and he's translated into our discussions. And I must say, it is quite a good compiled suggestion on how to prep. This is South African Prepper. God bless.